Hello and welcome to Connect and Collaborate. I am Alex Hopkins, your on-air producer. And today we are talking with Alby Segall. He is with the Emily Griffith Foundation. But before we introduce you to Alby, I'm going to tell you to make sure to log on to cobrt.com. You can check out our events page for any upcoming events that we have. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter. It comes out every Tuesday. And also, of course, check out our radio page, cobrt.com/radio-podcast for this show and more. And Alby, welcome. It is a pleasure to have you on with us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so let's start out with a little bit of your background and how you wound up at Emily Griffith.
My background is I moved here to Colorado in 1977. And I've spent my career basically one way or another in lifelong learning. I ran a summer camp, a residential summer camp for a bunch of years, and then I went to, I was the executive director of the Children's Museum of Denver for a number of years.
Yeah.
And left there to consult, and I had my own consulting business for 27 years, and I got a phone call from a friend who was the chair of the board of the Emily Griffith Foundation. And she said, I know that you're not really up for taking a salary cut, but would you consider coming to work for us? We could use your energy. And so I decided to make a change. At the time, I'd been living half-time in Vail and half-time in New York City.
Oh, wow.
That didn't hurt. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But, so I decided to do it, and 5 years ago became the president of Emily Griffith Foundation.
Fantastic. So, you said you moved here in 1977. Now, do people consider you a native yet?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, I'm actually a New Yorker through and through.
Okay. I had to ask because I feel like there's not a set time. You could have moved here when you were 3 years old and people still wouldn't consider you
right.
a native.
I love Colorado.
Yes.
But I can't escape New York.
Oh, understandable. New York's one of the greatest cities. I shouldn't say that.
It is. It's the greatest city on earth.
Oh. So Emily Griffith Foundation, let's talk a little bit about the background of Emily Griffith Foundation, how that got started, how long it's been around, and it started out of being a technical college, right?
Well, let me start with the college. So
Okay.
Emily Griffith Foundation is separate from Emily Griffith Technical College. We're a separate 501c3. I report to a board of directors. I don't work for the college.
Okay.
The college was started by a woman who couldn't vote but changed education. In 1916, 102 years ago, Emily Griffith started the first adult vocational school in America. And she founded the school, on three principles. The first was that it was open admission. Absolutely anyone could come. The second was that the curriculum would always reflect the needs in the workforce.
Okay.
And the third was that she never wanted to put a student in debt, and so there was never a loan, no student loan. And so in 102 years, the college has never added to the $1.4 trillion of student debt in the United States today.
That is fantastic.
So today, the same three principles apply. It's open admission. Absolutely anyone can come. And the second is that the curriculum has constantly changed to meet the needs of the workforce. And Emily Griffith Technical College has never made a loan. So it's never added to student debt.
Oh, wow.
It's highly successful. The college itself, I'll throw a few statistics out because I don't like to do that too much, but the college itself has an 86% graduation rate. It's hard to imagine how high that is. It compares to 36% in the community college system.
Right.
The college has an 84% job placement rate within 3 months of graduation.
That's huge.
And 99% of the students who take licensures for their certification, barbers and cosmetologists and in the nursing schools, they pass, 99% pass on the first try. It has the largest English as a second language program in the state of Colorado and has since its inception. And it has one of the most successful, if not the most successful, GED program in the state of Colorado. In 1933, the year Emily retired, there were 38,000 students in the school. That was 1 in every 10 Denver residents. There were 17 locations throughout the metro area and basements and churches. In 1990, Denver Public Schools withdrew its funding from the college. So from inception in 1916 until 1990, it was free. And anyone could go, and it was a Denver public school.
Okay.
In 1990, Denver Public Schools, while not disqualifying it as a Denver public school, they did withdraw 100% of their funding support. And so that's when the foundation was formed to try to fill the gap.
Okay.
So the foundation was formed in actually 1991 and to support scholarships, new classroom equipment, capital needs, new programming, seed money.
Okay.
And the college itself today has about 8,000 students a year. About half of those students are apprentices. It's the largest apprenticeship program in the state of Colorado. There's both union and non-union with 17 different apprenticeship sites. The college also has about 2,000 immigrants and refugees from 90 different countries, speaking 70 different languages.
Wow.
And the college has about 2,000 students a year that get certified in any one of over 30 different trades and industries. So the college is broken up into 4 schools. There's the College of Health Sciences, which has nursing and certified nurse associate and pharmacy tech and dental assistant, medical assistant, and phlebotomy, and et cetera. There's the College of Creative Arts and Design, which is the culinary school, the barbering, cosmetology, massage, baking. There's the College of Trades and Industry, which is welding, automobile mechanics, water quality engineering, CAD BIM, computer-aided design, upholstery, advanced manufacturing. And then there's the College of Adult Language and Literacy, pre-college we call it. And that's the school where it has the English as a second language, GED, and a new American program where when immigrants come to the United States with advanced degrees from their countries, and those degrees don't weigh in with the current industry standards in America, the school works to train those students to get back into their industry, not necessarily at the level they left their home country, but at a level so that they're still in the industry they're schooled in.
Oh, wow. This is also very impressive. And one of the things that the Colorado Business Roundtable is really big into is this workforce development, which seems to be the foundation here, right? That's the whole reason it got started, and it is still free to this day.
No, the college has tuition, but
Okay.
it's the lowest tuition in the state of Colorado. It's an average of $84 a credit hour compared to $136 a credit hour of the community college system, or the university system, $600 a credit hour. So it's the lowest per credit hour tuition in the state of Colorado. And the foundation was formed so that any student who couldn't afford that can still attend the college.
Okay.
So the foundation today gives the college approximately $3 million a year. And that goes to scholarships and to new classroom equipment and to capital improvements and to new programs. So because the college itself is sensitive to the needs of the workforce, sometimes the foundation goes to raise money to support a new program. A great example of that would be the water quality engineering program. So my first week on the job about 5 years ago, Denver Water approached the foundation and the college as saying, we need trained water quality engineers. We're losing our inventory of employees. They're retiring, and there's no solid training ground for them. So with the financial help of Miller Coors and Denver Water, Emily Griffith Technical College, through money that the foundation raised, started a water quality engineering program, which is now highly successful, graduating over 50 students a year, 100% job placement all over the western United States. So that's a perfect example of how the college changes its curriculum based on the needs of the workforce. On the other side of the coin, the college in 1916, when Emily started the school, had very robust sewing and fashion design courses. But today, if you want to be in the world of fashion design, you should probably be in Singapore or Los Angeles, not in Denver, Colorado. There just aren't that many jobs. So that became a piece of the adult education, continuing education part of the college, and no longer accredited.
Okay, interesting. Well, and I like that it ebbs and flows, right, with the industries. It's very important. And one of the things I think a lot of people miss out on this workforce development is the fact that quote unquote blue collar jobs aren't seen as prestigious jobs. You've been told you can't make money doing it, and you're going to work your fingers to the bone every day, which simply isn't true.
No, in fact, we don't use the term blue collar anymore. We call it new collar.
I like that.
And because you're absolutely right, the perception of workforce education in America took a serious hit somewhere around World War II. Prior to World War II, the concept of going to get trained and skilled in a profession that you could then work in and enter the middle class and sustain a family was prevalent. Today, the mantra is, although it is changing slowly, the mantra is graduate high school, go to a four-year university, get a job. Mm-hmm. Well, we know that while that's a wonderful career path and something that's just absolutely right on for many people, it's not right for some people who can't afford it. The price of college today is exorbitant, and student debt is $1.4 trillion in America. Untenable, really. Mm-hmm. And so slowly, I think some people are realizing that you can go and you can spend 9 months trained as a welder, and you can come out making $65,000, $75,000.
Yeah.
You can come out in a 5-week certified nurse associate program and make $30,000 or $35,000 a year. So the perception is slowly changing, and perhaps when we talk about the future of the foundation, we can talk about what we're doing to try to change that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and our listeners know this, but I went through a roundabout way to get my associate's degree, and I have to tell you, this negative image that these new collar jobs have, or just getting an associate's degree or just getting a certification, I agree with you. I think we are finally seeing how much that can be really helpful, and we need these skilled workers, right?
Absolutely.
All over the country.
Absolutely. It's really the engine of our economy in a lot of ways. We call the foundation uses another term we made up, higher education, but we spell higher H-I-R-E.
Ah. Yeah, I like that, because you're actually hireable, right? Right out of college.
So that's the whole purpose of technical vocational schools, and particularly Emily Griffith Technical College, is to train people with skills that are hireable.
Yeah. And that's huge. That's the other side of the coin, right? I didn't spend 4 years in an institution and another 2 years trying to find a place that would let me come on, because they also, not only do they require a 4-year bachelor's degree, they require 2 years of experience somewhere along the way, right?
Right. So and part of the challenge is to stay at the front edge of what it takes to be hireable and to have new collar jobs available and trained employees for those jobs. And for the colleges, technical and vocational schools in Colorado anyway, to stay at, I don't want to say the cutting edge, but at least in front of where the technology is leading us. And so we have formed an alliance with a company in California called Striver, which is leading virtual reality. And Emily Griffith Technical College is now the first technical college in the United States to use virtual reality in the classroom. So we've created 3 programs, 2 in the health sciences nursing arena and 1 in construction, where the students put on the headsets and are virtually on a construction site, learning the dangers, the values, the methodologies of being on a construction site as a beginning worker. And we do have that. We now have 3 programs that we've developed and are using, and our goal is to develop a library of these virtual reality programs that can be licensed by other technical schools around the United States. So we have about 5 that we have. We're working on raising the money to create, because the equipment is not that expensive. It's really it's creating the program, the video programming that then puts you in another space virtually.
And I really need to reiterate this for our listeners. You're the first school in the U.S. to use virtual reality in a classroom.
Technical college,
excuse me. Technical college to use VR in a classroom, and you're still only charging $84 per credit hour.
That's correct.
That is mind-boggling and beautiful. It really is. I think that's fantastic. Let's get into a little bit of the technical parts here about how the Emily Griffith Foundation supports the technical college.
Sure, thank you. We're a small shop. It's 4 of us.
Oh, wow.
And we raise over $3.5 million a year. So our funding comes from a variety of sources. One is corporations, and so we have a number of programs where we work with corporations to help them hire our students, and we also help train students for particular specific jobs. So the culinary industry came to us and said, we're hiring people off the streets, and they're going down the street for $1 more an hour in 2 months, and they have no training. Can you create a quick program to give students basic fundamental training in culinary skills? So we started Culinary Quick Start with funds from the from Eat Denver and a consortium of restaurants. That has become so successful that we have a waiting list of over 300, because we only have 2 kitchens that we can use to teach the 25 cohort students in.
Yeah.
And there's just so much demand. There's a hiring fair immediately after the 30-day Quick Start program, and they all get hired and picked up by restaurants because of this 30-day intensive, I don't like using the word boot camp, but it sort of fits, program. We now have a Quick Start in construction safety, culinary, landscape irrigation, and property management. And we're looking at 2 or 3 more. So that's an example of how we work with companies, the corporate world, to help them hire hire our students.
Yeah.
We also have a revenue stream from foundations. We work not only with local foundations, because Emily Griffith Technical College has a wonderful local reputation, but we also have started to work with national foundations, because a number of our programs are scalable, like the virtual reality program. And we do a symposium now every other year called Touching Tomorrow, which brings in 10 corporate executives from all over the United States, 10 community college and vocational college presidents from all over the United States, and 10 counselors, high school counselors, college counselors, workforce center counselors, chamber of commerce counselors from all over the United States, to talk for 2 days about the future of workforce education, a moderated panel. Not a public event, but people invited, and this year it'll be November 16th and 17th in Kansas City. And we create a special report that comes out of this to talk about the issues that were discussed and that can be impactful for the future. Last November, it wasn't last November, November 2016, when we did it the first time in Vail, Colorado, one of the issues that was discussed and that we've talked about and now are doing something about is that industry, educators, and students particularly aren't speaking the same language. What apprentice means to one is not necessarily what apprentice means to another. And so we're creating a glossary of terms so that everyone understands what an apprentice is, what stackable credentials means, what internship is. So we're trying to do impactful results out of this Touching Tomorrow Symposium. Again, the next one is November 16th and 17th in Kansas City, hosted by the Kauffman Foundation out of Kansas City. So foundations is another source of revenue for us, and we're beginning to get some traction with foundations outside of Colorado because of the things that we're doing that are scalable.
Yeah.
We also get money from individuals. We have, a small cadre of individuals who believe in what we do and understand the history of Emily Griffith Technical College and love to support it. And then we also receive some government funds, more and more, more and less, depending on administrations. But as the government realizes that higher education, HARE, and new-collar working is good for the economy, some government funding loosens up. And so we're on that and applying for that and receiving some of those funds. And then lastly, the foundation was fortunate enough in 2015 to purchase some property in downtown Denver that are parking lots, and we received some revenue from those parking lots. So that's where our money comes from, basically.
Yeah, well, that's definitely and great and interesting. You have some interesting ways that you get money, particularly the parking lot. I don't know that many people would have thought to do that, but that's genius, really. Especially because parking is so hard in downtown Denver.
Right. So our parking lots are between 18th and 19th Broadway and Lincoln, right across from the downtown campus at 1860 Lincoln.
I feel like I parked there.
You may have. There's a big sign there that says proceeds benefit Emily Griffith Foundation.
Yeah.
We also we have a video series that's internet driven for nonprofit board members, and we've begun to license that. It's created by Emily Griffith Foundation and a national consultant who lives here in Denver, Bill Charney. And it's 12 parts, and each one deals with a specific aspect of being on a nonprofit board. It's very good. It's very technically oriented for nonprofit board members, and no matter the size of the board, a nonprofit can license it for $400 a year. And we've had some success licensing that to nonprofits across the United States.
That's fantastic. So I know that your current event that you've got going on is this November 16th and 17th. Again, it's invite only in Kansas City to talk about the workforce changes and get those terms together. We mentioned briefly a little bit before we went on air that you have a Labor Day project kind of in the works. I know you don't want to mention too much about it, as it's pretty much just an inkling of an idea at the moment, but did you want to give any details for us?
Well, it's baking.
Okay.
So last Labor Day, I happened to be in Vail, Colorado, and I was walking by the fire station, and I saw the firemen out with their large boots raising money for muscular dystrophy. And I remembered growing up watching the telethon, the Jerry Lewis telethon for muscular dystrophy every Labor Day weekend. And I kind of got to thinking that now that Jerry Lewis is gone and the telethon is gone, why can't technical and vocational education attach themselves to Labor Day? It seems like a natural to me. Mm-hmm. And so we've started to put together a multi-year program to build movement around Labor Day and technical and vocational education. We'd like to start a podcast that deals with Labor Day and labor and work. We're talking about a media campaign. And to begin with, this has nothing to do with raising money. It has to do with changing perception. So we spoke briefly about the perception of pre-World War II technical and vocational schools and then what's happened since. And that boat is slowly moving and changing direction. Maybe we can enhance that movement to some degree and try to do a statewide campaign over the next 3 years that lets people know that new-collar work and higher education and technical and vocational school is not only a viable career, but can be a very successful career path. And we're hoping to start that this Labor Day. Now, again, it's half-baked. We're still looking for some funding for it. So if anyone out there listening or watching wants to get in touch with me, we'll give you that information. But we think that we can move that needle, and that needle will be increased enrollment in the 36 vocational and technical schools in the state of Colorado, not just Emily Griffith. There's 36 vocational and technical schools in the state, and we would like to involve in this year 2, hopefully, all of them in moving that needle and changing the perception of workforce education.
I think that's lovely, and I wish you the best of luck on getting there.
Thank you.
In the meantime, one of the things that we always ask our nonprofits particularly is how people can get involved. And I know that you don't have a whole lot of things people can volunteer for, so what else can they do?
Well, you can give us money.
There you go. Perfect.
My job is to raise money.
Yeah.
And then to give it away. Yeah. So we have a very good website at egfoundation.org, which allows you to learn about what we do and support the Emily Griffith Foundation. You can anytime come by our offices at 1860 Lincoln in Suite 605 and talk with us about what we think the future of workforce education is and how you might get involved in helping us raise money for that purpose. I am not a big fan of events, and so we only do one a year, and it's our annual breakfast called Legacy of Learning Breakfast, which happened last week. And it's gone from 230 people to 350 to 440, and last week we had 600 people.
Congrats.
And so we believe we're building a really wonderful morning event that's never going to be Children's Hospital fundraising, but successful for us.
Yes, and again, visit egfoundation.org.
Correct.
And in the meantime, find this podcast and more at cobrt.com/radio-podcast and like and subscribe our YouTube page. Thank you so much, Alby. It's been wonderful having you.
Thank you.
Yeah.